If you don't mind, I'll go with the
Sure.
financial highlights, so we can go through the bills and all that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This should be the top page I left on y'all's. And we have a little good news. You know, I gave you a lot of bad news last month, and hopefully we're done with the bad news. The district's in really good shape revenue-wise, with the exception of the 313, which we discussed. The interest revenue, I sit down and figured out, you know, where we're at today, and we're gonna have a lot of investments come up and mature between now and August 15th, because that's when we have our big days of paying recapture and paying bond payments. On the general fund, we're gonna hit right at $675,000 in interest and investment revenue for the year, so that's gonna help quite a bit with the deficit in the 313 money. Another good item we got right now is my latest and greatest template. Shows I'm estimating recapture payment to be $15,147,000. We budgeted $15,400,000, so that's gonna be to the good of $253,000 if that pans out. But right now, that's the numbers I have show some positive there. Final expenditures for the year should fall just under budget, which will help as well. We've done a good job, I think, on the expense side. New legislation, I don't know if you guys are aware or not, the House passed some new legislation last week. Combination of compressing their tax rate, I think, around 25% on the compressed rate on the property taxes. And they're supposed to supplement it with more state funding. How that pans out, I don't know. Just last night, we got a new template that should have all that and consider all that. Yesterday, the appraisal district sent me a new adjusted certified values because the exemption went from 40,000 to 100,000, so they had to make some adjustments there. And so I've got all the tools now to go ahead and do a new template with all the new legislation. Should get that done sometime tomorrow. And then turn around next week and should have a good working copy of our budget for you guys. So, that being said, we can go on and we'll do the bills and any questions on the bills and the board report. And then I've got some budget amendments we need to discuss.
So the FFA trip booster club, how was the majority of that paid for through their booster?
you talking about the trip we just did?
Mm-hmm.
No, Mr. Green, that should be paid for through, most of it should be paid for through the district.
Okay.
It's function
It
36.
just might be on the next cycle.
Yes.
I just don't see a big hotel.
Yeah, I don't think he got back by the end of the month.
Okay.
Probably, you
Yeah,
can see it
no.
next month.
Okay.
He's really good about sticking to that.
Sure.
There's one thing I'll point out is I got 3 budget amendments that'll explain some issues on expenditures, but the one function that we're having issues with, 51, we're gonna be over a little bit, and the 2 issues there is, of course, the new gym, electricity took a nice little jump when we got the new gym, and also, we've gone through quite a few air conditioners this year, more than we typically do, and it's not cheap. And I think we have a couple more to go.
They went out and
I'm
we
sorry?
replaced them, or we replaced them like?
Some of them burned up, some of them went out.
And our server room got so hot, I called Raymond 2 weeks ago, I said, I can't even save anything to the server. And he said, we can't keep our server cool enough to work properly. I was literally having to save everything just to my computer and leave it there because it was so hot, servers weren't working properly, I literally couldn't even save a file to the server. And so
Be
we got
very
a big
nervous
one.
that it's in the second story of our 1909 building.
That's what I was gonna ask, I wasn't
We've got a big
aware of
project
that.
coming up on that one that's not gonna be cheap.
Mm.
But we gotta keep those servers cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a big deal nowadays.
Is it there or is it between Coach Morrow's and Miss Rico's room?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know where they're at.
It's in the old building.
I thought it was in his room.
I'm thinking there's a closet between Coach Morrow's room and Miss Rico's room that houses a bunch of stuff, but don't get me lying, it might be in the upstairs in 1909. There's a big something
like
that has
that's
to
what-
have fans in that closet between
It might
Coach
be.
Morrow's and Miss Rico's.
It might be.
Place that closet. So the function 51 amendment will be on the next cycle?
We're gonna wait till the end of the year, cause we might as well, no sense in doing it twice, so,
Okay.
no way. But we'll need more information if we want. And he didn't address it tonight.
Thank you, Robert.
You got 3 budget amendments. Function 36. I don't know if y'all remember the discussion last year, after talking about bus drivers and how they're compensated for, extracurricular bus driving. And then, I don't know if it was something y'all approved, but anyway, we pay a stipend, or we pay the stipend this year. Anyone who did, 6 trips or more driving the bus after hours for a extracurricular activity. There was a $750 payment at the end of the year, so we had a list of 9 people, I believe, that got that payment. And this covers that plus the taxes and TRS payments included on that, so that's that first budget amendment on function 36. There's one on function 34. In the past, we had only had an aide on one bus, and now this year we had them on all the buses. And that was not in the budget, because it's something we decided to do once the school year started. So there's a $9,000 adjustment in function 34 to cover them extra aides that we put on the buses in the mornings and afternoons. And the third one, is, appraisal and collection. When I did the budget, I just used last year's existing numbers. And our actual amount we paid this year jumped up $20,000. So that's just to cover the additional $20,000. We were in good shape till the final payment came in. And so, that'll cover us on our appraisal service. And those are the three budget amendments which, I'd like for you to approve, and then I need you guys to sign off on it.
Anybody have any questions about those? Not good with them?
Just curious, what is the cost on electricity for the new bill? I'm sure it's
I'm thinking right around $4,000 a month increase.
4?
Yes, sir. I think we average right around 18, 19, and we're hitting the low 20s now, so just off the top of my head, around $4,000 a month. Our new rate that we had negotiated starts in June, so we'll see that new rate effect on the bill in July. We went through we wound up going through a co-op out of Houston and getting a 0.55 rate on kilowatt. And when we went and put it out for bid, I think 0.58 is all we got, and we got it for 4 years, so. It's not the great rate we had all those years, but it's the best we could do, so that's also we'll have to adjust our next year's budget to cover that increase. Fortunately, about half the electric cost is the transmission cost, which is not gonna rise. So it's not gonna be as big a jump as we might think. And you think, after I realized that, it's not the deal breaker that I thought it was gonna be.
Is it on the same, like the ones over here are scheduled to, cause I know it got hot in the evenings this summer in the Estes gym, is it on the same programming to where it like goes in energy conservation in the evenings or in the summers or things like that on the, cause it's all that fancy button.
I hope it's programmed correctly. I can't tell you that it is. Yes, someone in the district needs to be able to tell you that it is. The co-op we use, they'll come in here later on and they'll identify our buildings and our units, and they'll look at our bills and they'll say, oh, you're using too much here, we've got a problem you need to look at, you know. They'll take the square footage you're pulling, what you're pulling it with, and they'll identify any issues that we have in the future, so that's a pretty good service they give us too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, I'm sure that helps with a $20,000 electric bill.
It does.
All right, and I have.
I'll make a motion. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Archie's people division. Number I, can I have a motion to approve the monthly bills? You did.
I'll make